Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Streamlined by 42 Agency. Today we're going to be talking about thought leadership marketing, and the reason we do it is because we have noticed this pattern among our clients and many other online communities for marketers that many people want to start doing thought leadership writing. It appears that there's not like a clear structure of how to approach the exercise. So we decided, since we have a lot of experience with 42 Slash, that we could share a couple of things that we have learned along the way. Let's get started. First and foremost, there is something very important about thought leadership writing, and it is that it is not SEO and it is not copywriting. This is important because SEO writing changed the way we consume information in our lives. I don't know if you remember the times before Google and how we used to consume information. But basically we went to a library, we had to look for the books, we had to do a bunch of very uncomfortable type of research. But the more we read, the more patterns we found and the better information we could kind of assemble in our heads. Then we could go back and write very interesting things and solve our problems. And that was kind of the process. It wasn't necessarily comfortable, it wasn't necessarily fast. Now Google comes, that totally changes the way we consume content, and it changes the way we solve problems and the way we approach our exercise when it comes to reading. That is something that we need to kind of stay away from if we're trying to do thought leadership writing. Why do I think so? Because basically the process when you're creating SEO content is to do a quick audit of everything that has been written around that particular keyword you're trying to target. That's great and it works, and it's a very transactional type of writing that facilitates and makes consuming information very easy, very convenient, very comfortable. That, however, doesn't really work in thought leadership writing. Now, I'm not saying making information that is very hard to consume, no, it's not about doing the opposite. There are some things that you can adapt, basically. But what matters, though, is that it's not about doing this audit of what is already out there. That's not gonna work. What you're trying to do with thought leadership writing is to bring outside perspectives into a particular field that people have not intuitively thought about. And it can be very random. You could add, I don't know, a movie, a cultural trend. You can add a TikTok video, a meme, anything. What matters is that you bring information from a different domain into this particular conversation, and you allow people to see their problems and to understand what it is that they're trying to read from a different point of view. It's very difficult because we live in an algorithmic world where everything we see is more of the same and more of the things we like, but that's the point. When you're doing thought leadership writing, you're not going for that. You're going for the opposite. You're trying to get people to think about the world and their problems from a different place. What you're trying to do is not to persuade someone into doing A, B, C, or D. What you're trying to do is to inform people or entertain people or help people see another way to think about their problems, another perspective to see their problems, another way to view their daily routine. Second, and another important thing that you need to do when you're doing thought leadership writing, it kind of ties with the first one and it's kind of connected, but you need to be able to consume content outside the intuitive algorithmic map that you are presented to on the internet. What does that mean? It means that basically you need to try to find things in places other than Google, in places other than LinkedIn, other than Facebook, other than Twitter, other than what you already consume. You need to try to do things differently. You need to try to consume different series, different books, different movies, different things, just different ideas, so that you can nurture yourself with this, and then you can go back into the writing exercise from a different perspective because you gain some insight from another domain about a particular idea. That is very difficult to do. It's a non-intuitive process. Sure, you can build certain processes around it, but thought leadership is about having original thoughts. How do you have original thoughts? By not doing whatever everybody else is doing. If you're really serious about thought leadership writing, you need to be able to consume different things. You need to be able to work with people from other domains. I'm an anthropologist, for example, and I work at a marketing agency. What happens when you mix those two things? Well, you get a thought leadership branch that is fairly successful. And why is it? Is it because I'm particularly brilliant? No. Is it because I'm even good writing? No, obviously not. English is not my first language. That's not why it works. It works because we are bringing ideas from a different domain into this particular space. And that's what you need to try to do. We need to try to take them into a journey that is outside the traditional frequency, the traditional limits, right, of what they would read online. I recommend going on Reddit, just checking some things out. I also recommend going back to forums. There are plenty of forums out there, going back into communities, just talking to people, going on adventures, going on a walk. Like, inspiration can be anywhere, but if you don't do a conscious effort to get there, you probably just will end up writing more of the same. And the third and very important thing that you need to do if you're serious about thought leadership writing is allowing yourself to have time to do reflection upon your thoughts and to be a little bit bored. I always want to have a screen, always. It's very difficult for me to enjoy my life without the constant need for micro doses of dopamine. The internet always feeds you with things that you will find interesting, even in small doses, but very, very frequently. If you want to innovate in your space, you need to allow yourself to disconnect from it. And you need to be able to reflect upon your ideas and your beliefs and question them. As a bonus and something very small that you could start doing, genuinely care about the people that you are working with and the people that are around you. Be a little bit more curious. Allow your teams to collaborate. That might mean that they have to go to useless meetings. Allow your teams to do that. We need to remember that life is not just about being productive. Life is also about being creative. And being creative is a non-intuitive path. You can do certain things to improve your creativity, right? But ultimately, it's a non-linear process. Allow this to happen in your organization. You would be surprised at how quickly you will arrive to different ways of doing the same things, how quickly you will arrive to innovations, even if they're really small. And it can come from people that you intuitively wouldn't think had those ideas, but they do. And it's very interesting. But if you never give them that chance, if you never build those spaces in your organization, if you never do that, you're probably never gonna access that innovation, that creativity, and that different way of seeing the world. Thank you so much for watching Streamline by 42 Agency. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. It really takes like a couple of seconds. And please give us a thumbs up. Also, if you didn't like it or if you don't agree with us, please let us know in the comments. We would love to start a conversation. That's really what this is about. Anyhow, I hope this was helpful. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye.